Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new installment of AV Veterans Talk. I'm your host, Bob Alvis, and this week we're speaking with Danny Bazzell, U.S. Army Cold War veteran and Edwards Flight Test Historical Director. Hey, Danny, how you doing this morning?
Good, Bob. How are you?
Pretty good. For everybody that's tuning in, you're Danny
Bazzell.
Danny Bazzell. And you've been around the Valley for quite a long time, right?
26 years.
26 years.
I'm still a newcomer here.
You are, and but I think you officially become an old timer after 20. So
Okay, so I can go to the old timers barbecue.
you can go to the old timers barbecue. So it's all good. So anyway, we're here to chat about obviously your military experience and what you're doing now, which is very important to the Antelope Valley here and to the aerospace community overall, not only just in our community, but nationally and actually worldwide. Worldwide, absolutely. Because we are the focal point for all those great things that happened at a specific base just north of here, correct?
We are the most historical valley in all of aerospace.
Yes, sir. And I don't care what those guys at Wright Pat say. Okay? So it's all about that big patch of dry lake bed out there. So, but anyway, just let's first start off here and talk a little bit about where'd you grow up at? What was your digs?
I was born in Tennessee, but I flew out here on a Constellation 14-hour flight with my mom and two brothers when I was 6 months old. Don't remember that.
Oh man!
I wish I did because I would have loved to seen the inside of that aircraft.
Oh, the Connie, yeah.
Moved to Sierra Madre, just on the other side of the hills there, bordering Pasadena, Arcadia, and pretty much spent 30 years there before moving up here to the valley.
Wow. Your parents, your dad came out here for work, or how'd you end up out in California?
Well, my biological father was a Navy. He served on destroyers in the Korean War, and he was stationed in San Diego. I don't know, I've never asked why we ended up in the foothills of the San Gabriel Valley, but I'm glad we did. And then when I was 4 years old, my mom married my stepdad, who was is an engineer, worked with the Navy as a civilian for his entire career.
Wow.
And stayed in Sierra Madre. It's a beautiful town.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it still is.
Hometown.
And the foothills of Pasadena are that's a high rent district.
It is. I think my parents paid the house I grew up in. They paid $28,000 for it, and they sold it when they retired for close to $1 million. So the
$1 million
prices did go way up.
It is, yeah. So you went to those high schools down there, I would imagine. And
Pasadena High School.
Pasadena High School. Graduated. The Bulldogs. There you go. What years did you graduate from there?
1979.
1979. Gosh, you young guys.
Yeah.
So
graduated 79 and then went into the Army in 1980.
So 1980, going in the Army, just didn't feel you were college bound, or what pulled your strings to go in the Army?
I was a teenager going nowhere fast. I was kind of wandering aimlessly, and I grew up building airplane models. Every Revell model of every World War II airplane you could think of, I built it and hung it from my ceiling, and then
nice.
Created diorama battlefields in the backyard with my brothers, and we built our own airplanes out of plywood and cockpits out of surplus joysticks and altimeters from GNS Surplus in Pasadena.
Nice. Yeah.
And one day I was working in the roofing business, and it had rained for I think 10 days straight. And when it rains, you don't make money.
Right.
And I thought, this is crazy. I got to do something. And I was driving down Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, and I saw Armed Forces recruiting, and I literally walked in to join the Navy, of all things. I wanted to be a nuclear submariner. I don't know why. It's 6'4".
It's an impressive title.
But went in there to the recruiting office, and the Navy guys were gone, and the Air Force guys were gone. The Marine Corps was a no-no because my brother was a troop handler in the Marines.
Yeah.
I was worried he may become a drill instructor, and I'd end up in his platoon for some weird reason. So the Army guy came out, and he goes, "Looking to join?" And I said, "Well, I was, wanting to look at the Navy." And he goes, "You don't want to join the Navy. Come in and talk to me." And we sat down, and before I left, I was in the Army.
Wow. Yeah, pretty quick, huh?
It was that quick. One of those compulsive decisions that if I didn't do it then, I probably would have never walked back into that office. So
there you go. And of course, the Air Force and the Navy lost out because it was lunchtime, and
exactly.
They're so it's all about luck. You know,
It
we
was.
lost another good man. I hate that when the Air Force loses another good man.
Yeah.
But you've come around nicely.
Well, when I think about it now, it's like, why didn't I join the Air Force? Just wait, because I loved airplanes my entire life.
Yeah.
Went to pretty much every air show growing up in Edwards, Port Hueneme, Miramar.
You got to Chino, any of their air shows out there?
We used to go out there when
It was museum,
it was I can't remember the name of it. There
Plains
was
of Fame.
No, it was a small little airport out there that
Oh,
just
Claremont.
had a whole bunch of warbirds on it.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately morphed into, that would have been back in the 60s, and I think it just morphed into Plains of Fame or the Commemorative Air Force, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
you know, looking back, you know, you think of us young guys building model kits and things like that, and that's kind of a lost art nowadays. You know, people don't grasp it because everything is about this handheld device.
You just buy the model already made.
Right, instant gratification we call it. When they walk into my little hobby shop and they see a model kit, they scratch their heads, they don't get it. They go like, what do you mean it's not already built? I go, no, but half the fun is actually building it and getting
And
your
try
final
not to
product.
get glue on the canopy.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and paint smudges,
Mhm.
you know, and fingerprints and stuff. But it was a trial and error thing. It's funny how, you know, my dad always said that, you know, young people, you know, he thought it was kind of a waste of time for a while until he realized, he goes, man, the skills you get out of building model kits, following instructions, looking at things three-dimensional,
Dexterity, whatever.
yeah, working with your hands and things like that. He goes, that's a good thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
so anyway, we're going to take our first break here. When we come back, we will get into a little bit of your Army service there and where you ended up in the tin can service, I guess I go. It's in the Army, that's
How I
one
ended up
thing.
in
In the
tanks.
Navy is the other thing. Yeah, how you ended up in tanks. So we'll
You
take
got
a
it.
break and we'll come right back here with Danny. I'm Bob Alvis, and thank you for joining us for this segment of AV Veterans Talk.